something, but you talking the loudest every time. I'm coming back. I only want to flex with you. I'm looking all through the party. I hope I find you there. And when I hold on your body, I will answer my name. Like this, disrespectfully. So come in a party, me and my baby. Moving and jamming, moving and jamming. The music season, and we feel it sweet. I ain't ashamed to say, every night and day, I want to wave, I want to wine, I want to...
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Somebody get the phone, go on the telephone.
Doc, you know this song?
I see you prancing up.
You see me prancing
Don't
up?
worry, Doc is a carnival man. And when carnival in Hollywood, you see Doc getting on bad.
No.
That mic is off.
Let's do something else happening.
Like sober.
Mic
Okay.
full.
Maka, your response was quite sober, but she was.
No, it's...
I didn't want to say it didn't look as if she been partying for you. Look at you be partying all right. She ready to start now.
Yeah, man, it's a jam, folks. It's a jam. Yeah, you are, but I don't know why it's on low.
Okay.
And the mic is open, yeah.
My mic is on.
All right, yeah, that's
Yes.
much better. Yeah.
Good morning.
All right,
You got
good.
me now.
Yeah, we
Stop
have
it,
you
stop.
there. Okay. All righty, so we're going to, morning docs, but we're going to jump into it so that we don't end up losing your time today. But we have to jump into something that I think is of interest to Maka in particular.
Of interest to me.
Of interest to Maka in
taxi
particular.
driver.
But you are a taxi driver, right? So we're just going to play a clip here and then we're going to have a general discussion on it. All right, so let's go.
Winston Morgan here, president of the St. Vincent and Grenadines Taxi Drivers Association. Well, this one has been more or less slow for us in terms of the cruise ship arrivals and the type of cruise ships we get. Sometimes you see a big boat in ship, you might in bay you might have seen two boats, and taximen could hardly get work still, you know. Every time you ask guests, you might hear no thank you, we just having a walk. Last year was better than this year for sure. I think this year we only have about 80 something calls to St. Vincent. In times past, Beckway has been always advertised as a tourist destination. So ships come and go to Beckway. There's also the challenge where ships come here and 600 guests are taken on 1 hour ferries and take them over to Beckway. So that's a blow in the back for us as well. Because, I mean, when the boats go to Beckway, they don't bring anybody up here, right? But when the boats come here, they take a couple of hundred of the guests and send them down Beckway and just let them go on the beaches. Well, where the access to the sites are concerned, I know earlier we had challenges where sites were closed last season. When the season opened, the sites are supposed to open. I can't see you open a cruise ship season and sites are closed. We still have the instances where road access, like for instance Fort Charlotte, it's over 10 years in fixing that road, you know. So that in itself was a setback, in that sometimes, so you as a driver, you have to do what's best for you. You have to take care of your vehicle and so on. And if the roads are deplorable, you will not want to go there with your vehicle because mash up your bushings and so on, and you not make any money readily enough. Some of us, we pay our bills in cruise ship season because, you know, it's a seasonal thing. So when we start to get the US dollar, we catch up on our bills. But this time, this season in particular is very slow. One of the most sold.
All righty, so that was Winston Pops Morgan, taxi driver, head of the SVG Taxi Association. Now, this clip we actually got from Searchlight. It is about 6 minutes. So if you want to see the full interview or the full thoughts expressed, you can go to Searchlight's Facebook page and you will find that information, all right? So some of the other issues that he raised, apart from those that he said, he's sometimes visitors there are dissatisfied with what they see or what they come across. They're disappointed, right? He also spoke about the issues of parking for taxi drivers, competing with those who work daily in Kingston. That is a challenge for them. Also spoke about challenges at the port itself, with taxi drivers competing with persons who might be coming to the terminal for business-related activities. Those who have paid parking, those conducting regular commerce, they are there as well. And interestingly, I didn't realize that there are like 300 taxi drivers here in SVG.
Yeah, registered taxi drivers.
Yeah, so
something he mentioned though about cruise ship coming to the mainland and hundreds heading down to Beckway. Beckway is part of St. Vincent. We have to all understand that.
But do you? But you could kind of see where he's coming from. I chuckled when he said it too, because you would think it's two different countries,
exactly.
Right? But do you? But you are kind of understand where he's coming from with it.
Not really too much. I mean, as I said, Beckway is part of St. Vincent, so
it is part of St. Vincent. But the revenue that persons in Beckway get isn't necessarily okay. So yes, it's going to, maybe the government going to get it in VAT, etc., and whatever other trickle down effects. But when it comes to taxi drivers here on St. Vincent itself, being able to ply their trade and be able to get.
Before we take that call, though, this is somebody from Beckway, right? You guys get the ships with 1,000 in Kingston, and we get the small ones with 100. You want us to send up from the little bit that we get? I mean, understandable.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc?
You know, I think Pops has a point. I have some sympathy with the taxi drivers, and it's a highly competitive business. You've said it. There are now 300 taxis. When if there were 100, it'd be different. But there are 300, and a lot of people after retirement are actually getting into that. It's a second job, especially during the narrow tourism season, November until probably April, May. Now, some of the issues that were raised there, I suppose, representing, let's say, 150 of those 300 taxis, as there are two associations. I don't know what is the proportion of members. He has to raise issues that they have raised. So he's representing, and I think that's a good thing. It may not affect every taxi driver, but he is bringing out the list of things that have their concern. I think a number of these things can easily be corrected. There are some short-term, and there are what we call some long-term things. The short-term things, I think, can be easily corrected, a lot of them. But there are some long-term things. Let me say, long-term in the past, Pirates of the Caribbean, if you were down there to see the set, they took some plastic stuff and stuck it up on a building, right? Painted it. And those things naturally would deteriorate. It wasn't that there was a hose construction. They converted different things into something creative. When we look at
they retained some of the things that were left from the initial sets.
Retained some of the things, but in terms of the facade that made it look like a village, those things were done very cheaply, easily, so they could put it up, leave, and go away. They weren't going to spend millions of dollars to leave it there for eternity. And the maintenance of it is always going to be a challenge, you know? But I say from a long-term point of view, and I'm hoping that even though the new port has had some challenges, that the old port will be closed. Camden Park will be consolidated and they can become efficient. But what that was supposed to do was to open up a whole new set of land space at the old port, whereby additional cruise ships can be put. When you talk about 85 calls, I am absolutely sure that there are sometimes 2 ships that won't come into Kingston Harbor, but it may not be able to accommodate 2 big boats.
That's the only point. Let me just take this call quickly. Hello, good morning. Hello.
We miss him.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Folks say that the guy, he's the president of the Taxi Association there.
Yes.
They say when ULP he's a good supporter of the ULP, a strong supporter. When ULP was in power, he never raised these issues about the bad roads and the sites in deplorable condition. So it may be politics why he's bringing it up right now.
I don't believe it's politics. He always complain.
And I'm saying it may.
Taxi drivers always complain about the roads going to the site.
So what you say, it may be, and it may not be.
He never spoke out officially like what he did to Searchlight.
No, but he said
he did it years ago.
Speak up. He should be the one. He did it?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's representing taxi drivers. What do you mean he should resign and let someone else do it? Some other person speak? Maka?
No, but I'm saying he should have do the same thing as Searchlight.
No, but if you notice, he was surrounded. He was surrounded in his interview by about 10 different taxi drivers. So he put one of them forward as a strategy. So the him talking, he and the president have the secretary talk or the PRO. What do you think? Do you think he should do that?
No, he should do it, but he should have done it.
Okay, but all right, but Maka just said that he has spoken on it before.
Do it now, but he should have done it.
Okay, but Maka is saying hold on, right? Because we could just end this very easily. Maka is saying that he has spoken about it before, and of course we know before would have been under the old administration. So whether it's under the old administration, whether it's under the new administration, whether it's under the new administration, the point is
Maka said it, but I have.
But Maka is a taxi driver, so I would quicker go with what Maka.
It don't matter he's a taxi driver. It don't matter he's a taxi driver.
Why wouldn't matter? Wouldn't he be a more in a better position to say that yes, Pops has spoken about this before?
He can be in a better position, but he could have his own political bias too. I don't know.
All right. Okay.
I'm not saying it is mine to know.
All right. So
it could be factual. I'm not saying he's not.
Okay. All right. So
all right, brother. We understand.
It doesn't mean it's factual because Maka said so and Maka is a taxi
and it doesn't mean it's factual when you present it either, because you saying people say. You haven't heard for yourself.
I'm just throwing it out there.
You're throwing it out
there. Right, but you're throwing out there, but you haven't heard yourself. Right? You haven't heard yourself. You saying people say. Right?
No, I'm not saying he's not telling the truth, but I'm saying in the middle. I'm not saying Maka is lying. I'm not saying Maka is telling the truth. I'm saying right in the middle.
All right. We just needed to have the interjection of politics. All right. Okay.
Yes. No, I think sadly we go about finding ways to dismiss something. Don't even bother about this because of who said so, or what. But I want to raise something. I think that a lot of these problems can be solved. The new administration, they've only been there essentially for a month and a half. Come on, you'll give them a chance, to be able to solve these problems. I think some of them can be solved, but it shouldn't be because you speak out, we ain't doing nothing. I don't think that's going to be, I think some of these things are going to be solved, but I believe there's going to be a long-term issue. How do we get 3 and 4 boats to come here? Solving the problem of back waves, boats going down there and the competition and who's getting and who ain't getting is a function of how many visitors are coming here. If 1 boat is come, you're going to have problems. If 2 boats, you're easily living. If 3 boats come here and 4 boats, you're going to hear, but we don't have enough buses. We don't have enough boats to carry 2 people to Beckwith. We don't have enough sites. Beaches. We don't have enough this and that and the other. The problem will shift to a different type of focus, And I want to say in general, I do want to agree with Pops. I mean, I'm a person who is in the business. I have a tour bus. I operate as well.
Oh, you do? Wait, let me write that down. Hold on. This is not a part.
Yes, everybody.
It's another part. I forgot to need to write.
Everybody, Maka, I have a tour bus. We operate and do stuff for
I didn't know you have a tour bus.
I do have a tour bus. Everybody around the world, I do have a tour bus. 29
A 29 seater
tour bus, a blue light.
It's
blue
actually a
tour
point I
bus.
had to write down for
And
something.
guess what?
but-
Guess what?
so Doc, you're making a lot of money, man.
No, not really. Some of the issues that are raised, I'm saying that I understand them, right? And the site. That's why I also try. I don't want to make this up to you because my call back. I'm looking to offer the mangrove as a potential site, but in terms of the volume of visitors to share around, that's not always the case. And the tourism season is
The
now.
mangrove, that's your place, right?
The mangrove, I'm associated with them.
Okay, well, I'm associated.
Maka, you didn't know that. Oh, Maka, you did that. Even Roleza knows that. Even Roleza, I'm going to invite the both of you out there.
All we want is for Doc to write down a list of all the things that he involved in, all right?
All the things involved with, no, listen, you know something? You are, when you're a conservationist and you're basically involved in some of these things, some people will say, get out of the way, don't do it. It's the same thing that's coming up here. We want more boats from Beckway. We don't want more boats coming from Beckway. That's the weak point of the presentation because it's to do with volume. It's to do with how many cruise ships do we attract in a very narrow 4-month, 5-month season that's there. And that's the important, as opposed to who it is. You get and me ain't get and I get and you ain't get. You know, that's for disclosure. I was important for me to say how I'm involved. So, Maka, you say you're a taxi driver. You know what I mean, and so forth. So I have to say that. You know, it'd be wrong if I didn't say that. Somebody else might call and say, you know, Thompson this and
We
so forth.
like full disclosure on this program.
Yeah, sure,
we
right.
like full disclosure.
But you see, some people take it as a negative. We can get you. We got something to get you from. But that ain't the point I'm making. I'm commenting on this. That Pops representing the taxi drivers has to speak up for each of them. You understand? And he maybe have to speak up for the other association as well. And I think he did.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, and to me, I personally don't think it matters whether he spoke then or he spoke now. The point is, tourism is on the increase. It is one of the areas that we are trying to tap into.
But look what we're discussing.
economic
Discussing.
development.
Rather than discussing the actual point itself,
right?
we're discussing who the messenger is.
Right. So
Who it
whether
is.
or not it was done under the previous administration or now, the point is we're trying to move the country forward. All right. So I really don't care when the messaging is being done, as long as we see action coming out from the messaging.
Roleza, that's the whole point. We lost it. We lost it. This morning, we lost it because we focus on who it is. If it's Maka, he's a taxi driver, so he's talking, dismiss that. Pops, he's a president, and he's Gerald Thompson is. So it's the content of what is actually being said, and we ain't talking about that.
All right, so there's just a few things that came out from it. Maka, then if you wanted to touch your things first?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
All right, so some of the things that came out of it, right? I have no problem with people speaking about, especially when you're directly involved in a sector and industry, you speaking out about it, all right? Because of course it's going to get the attention of the ministers and those who can actually bring about change. But I think one of the things that he said that the cruise ship season is slow. And he made mention of persons coming off the ships and they say, no, they're not necessarily going, they will just walk around, etc. But is it a case where we are not getting the type of cruise ships with the visitors who actually have a bit of spending power, right? Is it a case where we get in some of those cruise ship visitors who, because as we discussed last week, Maka, everything is inclusive on the ship. So they don't necessarily have to spend when they come on shore, right?
You see, a lot of these ships, right? When these ships come to St. Vincent, sometimes it'll be the last stop or the second to last stop. So they don't spend most of their money elsewhere.
Right.
So
yeah,
that could be an issue.
So that
it may be that, but I want to tell you, there are some people who go on the cruise ship, and I don't want to put it wrong. They're in a cabin, 4 or 5 of them in a cabin that has cost minimum. And there's some people who live in the executive suites and so forth, with 2, 3 rooms and so forth. And they pay packages that offer them this, that, and the other. So when they come off, there's pre-designed, whereas others who are on a budget call
Right. Yeah.
walk off the ship and will walk the town.
Right.
Or maybe then solicited by a taxi driver who will ask them, do you want to go there? And depending on the circumstances. But others who may have more money have a prepaid that they will go on this tour, that tour. And
Right.
they
So
set
the
in a
so,
particular
so the
area.
ones who come off the ship, what the taxi drivers are encountering, are the ones who are not necessarily spending, which is the challenge, right? Which is the challenge that some of the taxi
Sometimes.
right.
You want to label
Some,
that,
no, I'm not. No, of course, I'm not doing a broad label on everybody who's coming off the ships, right? But I'm saying in this case where Pops gave that example, is it a case where some of the persons don't have as much spending power, right?
You know, James Mitchell once said that the cruise ship industry, people, it's only going to be for a Pepsi, a postcard, and to pee. You understand? And that was challenged, but there's an element of that. But there are a lot of other visitors who come here, where there's a luxury yacht, whether it's on the top floor, the top deck of this cruise ship, they basically do have a substantial amount of money and they pay in different ways. And the cruise operators are capturing those individuals first electronically and so forth to go on various tours. And they have the spending power, their credit cards already paid for these things. And they go straight off to these tours.
Yeah. All right. So another challenge that I'm a little bit curious as well too. Is it that we have more taxi drivers than we have enough tourists coming off of these cruise ships, right? Because remember, we focus on the cruise ship industry. Is it that also another factor where there are more persons there waiting to get customers as opposed to there being enough to go around? And I'm also going to tie in the tour buses in this case, right? Because Pops was speaking from the vantage point of the smaller taxi drivers, right? Those who may have a Noah with that could accommodate maybe like 4 persons,
Seven
right?
persons.
7 persons. But when you have persons coming in on taking the big tours, the big buses, is it a case where that is somehow maybe eroding the persons with the smaller taxis who might be looking to get persons? Is it the smaller persons who are complaining? And I'm saying smaller, right? Smaller persons who are facing this challenge as opposed to the bigger buses.
I think they are, but you have to understand that someone who has prepared this, who knows when they come to St. Vincent, they're going to go to the Dark View Falls. When they come off of the boat, they're being directed straight to a bus, as opposed to a taxi driver. So if there are 15 of them, you know, they would go on a larger bus, as opposed to take 3 taxis.
Right.
To go down.
I am not. Hold on. Let me I seen your facial expression, right?
But the solution is, in answering your question,
let me finish.
Yes, you need, for this year, there's less cruise ships for the amount of taxis. Last year, there were more cruise ships for the amount of taxis. I'm answering your question. And that it's hoped that by getting more cruise ship, you will partially solve some of the problems that were raised by that.
But another thing is the capacity of the amount of persons that's coming on this cruise ship. Some of the cruise ship that come, the capacity might be, let's say, 2,000 people.
Yeah.
But 1,500 people comes on the cruise ship. But how much people take tours?
Right.
That's the point. I get the point.
All right. So let's take this call. Hi, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning. This topic is kind of funny. The problem with business, because if people find out that someone is making money in a business, they tend to want to go towards that business. When St. Vincent didn't have too many tour ship and most of the taxi drivers used to come out with taxi stand and go to work, we had enough taxi. We didn't have enough taxi. Now today, people with their own private cars turning it into a taxi.
That is true.
And they're working basically just for tourism. You can't call them for drop away. Their private taxi thing is just for tourists. So there is where the problem lies. Because a lot of people who you don't think driving taxi is driving taxi. If you listen to the guy's statement, the man said police up. taxi. The man said, private people had a car as taxi. So it's not a problem that you know are not thrown through what we can consider two taxi drivers. Mark is a taxi driver, but he walk in, right? The point this man was making is that the taxi driver who go walk nowhere but go in taxi. That's how I got it. And they can't find park for the regular person who go to taxi. That's all they do.
But that's on the taxi stand. That's on the taxi stand.
But that too, and in the same set of people who will go up on the tourist boat and probably undercut and the taxi man. People don't understand because if I'm a private taxi driver,
there's a lot of competition.
I don't believe yes, competition, that's the problem. But when I
see some of these stories. Go ahead, could you?
A lot of people don't realize, a lot of them tourists do a lot of money, They save up for come and them They save up. The little pittance they have, they put a little thing aside, then they get a thing. So when they come to St. Louis, it's bargain they're looking for. Bargain. Who could drop me to the best place for less money? Just, this world is, we're not closed off in a vacuum area that nobody in coming to bargain. People bargain all over the world and tourists. I'll tell you something. I wish I had a way the people used to come around St. Vincent to Carnival. There was one white lady in the crowd, and everybody would have swear that she knew who was in charge of it. Whole thing. And she was the less fortunate one in terms of money. She didn't have the money. So, but everybody will, when I come, everybody will have go next to her, baby kind of thing. She have money to they won't go get next time with the black person and who come and be kind of they local too, so they okay. But she white, so they think she the one who have the money. So
all right.
And I took wins. This conversation will go in going on long time. Not because of your party power or you think that nobody is supposed to say nothing. I listened to this man talk already. I read it in the newspaper, and I didn't get the Searchlight paper. So if it's not this whole thing and tourist at y'all for child that we're not the tourist destination. People have run up out. The access is bad. They're losing the tire. They're losing the shacks. This thing ain't happening just now. If you want to be honest, it happened on the ELP. It now is happening on the LP. And it's going to continue to happen until it's fixed. People don't talk.
All right,
people don't talk.
All right, Kojo, thanks. You're going to say something.
Could you make a good point that some of these tourists look for these? They go outside.
That is what I found interesting when Pop said when they go to Paris or the Caribbean and they're disappointed with what they see. And when he's expecting the fare and they gave him less or they would give less than the taxi driver was expecting. I also thought it was a fixed cost.
To go down to
like if you take it, it's a fixed cost.
Yeah, it's
so then how they get a bargain?
There are some taxi drivers that be outside the gate. We call them hustlers. You know what I mean, Doc? So those taxi drivers now, we inside we charge $35 per person to go down to Paris or the Caribbean. Those hustlers outside might say, okay, I will take a 20, a 15. Obviously, the tourists will go with them.
But this is true of almost any country in the world. I mean, it happens a lot in a lot of places. But it's a tourism season, and at the end of the tourism season, a lot of these additional persons will go back to their other job, their private jobs, all this sort of things and so forth. But because the volume of visitors and ships are down, and the type of ships are consigned to this operator and that operator, the taxi drivers understandably are suffering in this regard. You know, I think it's a real challenge. There's some short-term solutions, and I think ultimately, I'm saying it again, the long-term solution is how do you get two or three bigger ships in at the same time and to be able to accommodate them. That is the big challenge.
Yeah.
Another thing that taxi drivers are complaining about is persons who doing taxi as a side job, like the police officers and persons who working in the public sector, and they park on the taxi stand all day as a parking. So most of the taxi guys are, you know.
Yeah, but we have to realize that parking itself in Kingston is the overall challenge.
Is a problem.
Right? That is what is the overall challenge. So whether it comes to taxi drivers or somebody just want to run in town for a quick 10 minutes, it's a problem all how.
No, well, yeah, some persons that party all day.
Yeah. Just because they have the H license.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, as Doc said, this is I don't even know how to address it. I think my only thing really is the sites, because I really and truly would expect that sites would be fixed up. And I don't even like having to say this, because sites should not be fixed up ahead of the cruise ship season, because we have people coming to the country. I live here, right? I am a domestic tourist. Sites should be a continuous improvement, a continuous renovation, a continuous maintenance. It should not be on account of we have people coming to our country, right? So I think that might be the starting point for me, especially, and along with that, fixing the sites and maintenance of these sites is also the road access, right? To many of these sites as well. And it's not just because we have people coming. I also need to be able to patronize some of these sites as well. All right, so.
Somebody saying on the WhatsApp, there's an accident in South Union involving 2 cars and a minivan. Ambulance and police are on the scene.
All right, we're going to have to go to social media to find that. All right, so we are going to head on out, take a very quick break, and then be back with Doc's commentary for this morning. All right, this is Activated Mornings here on WEFM.
99.9 WEFM.
WEFM reminds and encourages the general public and